Yeah.
Now we're
And then
here.
I smacked him in the head. Oh, man.
How late are we?
Oh, man. The technology
6 minutes.
gremlins. 6 minutes?
Sorry, guys. I still don't know what my problem was. My laptop that I usually have down here wouldn't connect to my Wi-Fi, so I did a hard reboot. Still wouldn't connect. And I can't reboot my router because other people are in meetings right now, like Zoom meetings. So I grabbed my other laptop and, knock on wood, it's working for the moment.
Well, I was having problems too. My microphone that normally works just fine is not working. So I don't know what's wrong with it.
His new microphone.
Yeah, you seem kind of quiet, or is that just me?
Me?
He is quiet. He's using his backup mic.
Yeah, sorry, the audio is going to be a little bit subpar for me because.
Talk louder.
No.
You're gonna have
talk louder.
You're gonna have to project to the back of the audience, my friend.
For the hearing impaired.
Yes.
Echo.
All right, let's talk about stuff.
Well, let's say hi.
Computer.
Let's say hi to the people who've been waiting patiently. Y'all apologize to them.
Yeah, I see this guy, that guy. Yeah,
Sparky,
whatever.
Scott, Michael,
Tony.
Where's
George,
Hope everybody's drinking, having a drink
Adam.
with us.
Hey, everybody.
Ho.
So thanks for waiting it out.
Yes, welcome.
Hey, you want to see something cool? This is not what we were going to talk about tonight, but
You're not gonna rip your skin off your face, are you?
no.
Blah!
For you blasted kids, I would have got away with it. I bought a box of old balsa from somebody tonight, and I was digging through it tonight. Look what I found.
Oh, balsa. Wow, ancient Dubro wheels.
Yeah, like new in box. I wonder how old they are.
The plastic still in.
Yeah, it's still wrapped
Still
up
has
in the
integrity.
thing. Yeah. So
Oh wow, how vintage do you think those are?
I'm going to guess early 80s,
Yeah,
but I'm not sure. Yeah,
I was thinking 70s, but okay.
maybe. I'll have to ask my guy on the inside.
Have your guy ask their guy.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
So, Lee, are you having trouble hearing Fitz?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's better than it was, when we were supposed to start. When it was.
Yeah, sorry, nothing I can do. I'll just stay close to the mic or whatever.
All right.
Well, people, if you have a tough time hearing Fitz and you have to make him repeat it, just let us know. We'll have him song and dance for you.
Well, you guys talk while I rearrange a few things to make it easier to hear me.
As he makes noise, moving things around. Like his microphone's right next to the noise. Oh, hey guys, just so you know, in case anybody was curious, Fitz and I are still above water.
Yeah. It's
Mostly.
funny. I didn't know anything about all that. Number one, I've been in the mountains for a few days and wasn't watching any news, but I don't typically watch the news anyway. So what's the thing? Why is Houston underwater again?
What do you think?
How have you upset the gods?
Tropical Storm Beta. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, apparently it ran out of names, so now they're just using Greek letters or something.
Yeah, Beta came in and gave us a lot of rain. I was more worried about Fitz because I was watching the Harris County flood maps, these little sensors on most of the I was watching the creek right behind Fitz's house just climb. He's like, no, that's fine. And I texted Terry thinking, I think I'm going to have to go help Fitz dig out.
Yeah,
Are you out of the woods yet?
I think we got another day of rain, right, Lee? I think they said.
Through tomorrow, so it's going to rain all night for here. The good news is the flooding is happening in Houston. There are several places underwater. They've closed 288 South and I-45 South, Terry, at one point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty significant. And not to say that there aren't other serious issues for some people out there here in Houston, especially in South Houston, who are in fact underwater. This is not as bad as like the tax rains or Harvey. It's definitely raining a lot. My pool's all green now. Thank you, God. I just finished changing the chemicals, but we're okay.
Yeah, if I can survive Harvey without flooding, then I'm not worried about anything else.
Yeah. So is this the new and improved Fitz? Like, did you make I meant audio-wise.
I didn't shave. I moved the mic and camera closer to my pie hole, so maybe it's a little louder.
Not so much.
No?
And the public consensus is you're still kind of quiet. So turn it up to 11.
There's nothing I can do.
You can talk louder.
Didn't you just upgrade your whole audio system?
can go to high
all the
definition.
things. So anyway, while Fitz monkeys with that, I saw a funny thing on Facebook.
Much better,
Wait.
much better, Fitz. That
Yeah,
fixture.
Yeah, there was a setting on for the camera I just found. So.
Fitz had crappy turned on.
Now I have to tell you, I'm doing 2 new things for my wife, my internet setup.
How's that? I think I changed mine too.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I upgraded my internet service, so the upload speeds are like
Upgraded.
upgrades. So the upload speeds are tripled than they were before, and I repositioned the Wi-Fi antenna in my workshop using that super long USB extension cord.
Oh yeah, you're actually doing this from your workshop. Usually you're inside your house.
Yes, because it's not 900 degrees outside anymore. So it's actually comfortable.
You actually sound pretty good, and the video quality is excellent. You are a little shaky. You're bumping the camera, so it's like you're in earthquake mode now. But there is a pretty airplane over your left shoulder. Don't look. It's gonna attack.
If I don't move, it won't attack, right?
We should talk about that before we get started, because that's a mighty big airplane behind you, buddy.
It's a monster. Is it still on the workbench? Yeah, mostly. Yes, this is the, if you follow my Instagram, I put a couple of pictures on my Facebook page too. This is the Seagull Models Shock Cub. This is 102 inches of goodness. This is a big mother.
Twin.
Shocking.
Yes, twin. You can see it's got an RCGF 40cc twin. So 2 cc's, 20 cc times 2.
How many cells does that take?
Right now, just 2 cells. So this is the first time I've ever be playing with a twin. So I'm really excited to see how this puppy fires up. I've run a couple other RCGF engines at single cylinders. They run okay. And I'm just like, hey, all right. And it fit in the cowl. I had to do some rejiggering to get it to fit the cowl with the mufflers were getting in the way and some other stuff. So this has been interesting build. This is coming in. I think I got the first one in the States. So I'm thinking a prototype, or not a prototype, maybe a pre-production, early production model. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I've been spending a lot of time putting it together. I brought it out to Bomber Field, which we'll talk about later, to show off a little bit. But it's not flying condition yet, but it's pretty close. Yesterday, I started hooking up the servos to the receiver and actually setting up the control surfaces and getting that ready. So,
are those leading edge slats?
These are leading edge slats.
Do I see a push rod going up to them?
Yes, they move. See that?
Oh, all right. Interesting.
They move with the flaps. And apparently this is just like the real one. They have these little slats that move with the flaps to help to redirect the air. So I suppose that they kind of fold down from normal flight to cut the drag down. But when you pop the flaps down, they pop up for slow speed, stall mode.
That's got to be the first time I've ever seen that.
First time I've ever seen that too. I've never seen movable slats like this. Some planes have movable slats that kind of pop out and slide back in, but they're flush when they're in. But this is sort of permanently out anyways, and they just kind of change your angle of attack. This is funky.
Very interesting.
Yeah, somebody a lot smarter than I am in aerodynamics said, "Hey, what if we moved them, and that'll increase we can increase the boundary layer or something like that."
They're called Steven flaps.
Steve-O flaps. So this will be a video. I'm working on video. It actually will be video and article. So you will see when I'm finished all kinds of fancy pictures and moving pictures.
Cool.
And talkies about it.
Yeah, I watched your Sunday video.
Yes. I had an unboxing video. My first time trying an unboxing video. I usually don't do that, but I thought, oh, what the heck? I just got it in. People might find it interesting. It's a lot of plane. It barely fits in my car, barely fits on the table. So
even when it's broken down.
Even when it's broken down, yes. I'll talk about a little bit when we talk about Bomber, but it's got these nice struts, lots of metal on this stuff. So metal struts, metal gear, got working shock absorbers.
I was going to ask about that. I couldn't tell if you'd finished it, so cool.
Yeah. I kept the... What's that?
Is it a bush plane?
I don't know if they consider it a bush plane.
It doesn't have big, spongy cartoon wheels.
Well, it's got, kind of, sort of. Biggish wheels. that fit on.
Yeah,
Although
okay.
I mean they're bush-ish, not quite super big, but
Yeah.
you can put bigger ones if you wanted, but they're not too bad. Air inflatable. There's a little
Yep. Yep.
thing to inflate them with. There it is. So I took the wheels off to make it so it didn't roll around on the bench so much. So they're easy to put on. You slide them on, set a set screw, and they're on. It's really easy. There's a little shaft here. That's really nice. They made it so it's nice to break it down. A lot of the struts pieces are held in with cotter pins instead of screws. So you can just pull a pin, pop off a little rivet-like little thing, and you can fold up the struts.
Buy extras.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. They only give you enough for just to build the kit. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to need extra of these suckers. Although, unfortunately, if you do lose one, you can just throw a 3mm screw and lock nut as a temporary measure. But yeah, you're going to need extras. In fact, I'm going to get some extras. I was just thinking about that the other night. Anyways, I haven't run it up yet, but I was, you can see I've got the receiver in it and some battery pack. And so there really isn't much left to do except to glue the windows in. I left them out to get it easier to access innards until I finish everything.
Windows. Who needs them?
It's going to have 440 air conditioner. 540.
But that's not why we're here tonight.
No.
Why
are we here?
Super special episode to talk about the events we went to last weekend.
Oh, that's right. This is a very special episode of Blossom.
It is. So, Lee, why don't you start?
And now, Fitz.
All right. Well, so two things happened this week.
One thing didn't happen.
One thing didn't happen. So we had two events that we had all three of us had planned to go to. But unfortunately, Lee was feeling a little bit under the weather and couldn't make it to the bomber field fly-in this week.
I'm sure you were missed.
But I sent in substitutes.
Yes, he sent in his mini clone.
3 Rays equal 1 Lee Ray.
Yeah, sure. Mini Me showed up in their bandit outfits. Your son called me and I missed his call because I was out in the line doing something. And then I turned around and there he is, one of them, or both of them.
Both of them. Both my boys and my wife took the boys there.
Yeah, and I saw your wife too. I said hello to her. They showed up eventually, and they were pretty busy running around taking pictures and stuff. It seemed to be
Cindy
exciting.
gets extra snuggles for taking the boys to an RCA.
I thanked her very much so. And boy, she was dead dog tired when she came back.
Talk is cheaply.
So we had two fly-ins. In case you hadn't listened to our last show, we had the Bomber Field here in Texas, the B-17 event, annual B-17, which is a really big, giant-scale warbird event.
190 pilots.
I was going to wonder how many, because I was
90 pilots.
I was number 123, and I got there really early Saturday morning. I mean, really, the sun hadn't risen up yet. I got there.
Well, people started showing up pretty early in the week, right?
Last year, right? They started showing up.
No,
they just never left.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, Tuesday and Wednesday, we started seeing all the social media Facebook pages of people posting, yeah, I'm going to Bomber Field. Here's my trailer. I'm like, it's like Tuesday or Wednesday. What?
The Californians and the Mexicans showed up on Wednesday and Thursday.
Yes, those people from Mexico, California, West Virginia, I heard, all kinds of states near Texas, and somewhere else, Pennsylvania.
I'm going to do a shout out for my buddy Mike McCormick. He is someone I interviewed on our show many years ago about his Ziroli electric P-38 that he did bring out to Bomber. Did you get to see it? Oh, of course you did.
I did. I saw it. I saw it fly. I didn't realize who it was. I saw a big P-38. I said, wow, that's a really nice P-38. And he put it on the flight line, and it started taxiing, and it was really quiet. Like, hello, you got my attention. And he took
Isn't
off.
he from way up north?
Yeah, he just moved to Texas from Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a local yokel now.
And I've enjoyed seeing his new workshop that he's building. Hit the hangar for the P-38, basically.
Yeah, it's a big plane. That's a monster. I don't know the wingspan, but it's got to be 100-inch, something like that, or more.
Yeah, 114. I think it's 114. Weighs 50 pounds.
It was really nice finish job on it. I was really remarking
gorgeous
the detail. He did something that's nitpicky, but the super turbochargers on top, really, really good job of weathering it, simulating sort of heat and rust and stuff on it. Very multi-textured. Really good job on it. It wasn't just a quick throw some gunmetal on it and walk away. So kudos to him on his design.
See if I can pull it up.
He's trying to share our password with everybody.
No, just bring up the P-38. Can you see it?
Yep, there it is. It has rivet details as well. There's
Oh,
little. Oh, there's
There's
libel.
libel. Trying
There's
to,
that
Pressing.
thing.
where
There's
did I
that.
play? There we
I don't
go.
know. Stop clicking the buttons.
Sorry.
And on the I can't, well, use your mouse on the intercoolers on the back there.
Mhm.
It had simulated grills inside, so you looked inside. It wasn't just hollow. There's some really nice stuff. Also, the turbochargers on top were really done, and then the little air scoops on the tail on the back. Yeah, there had some really nice detail in them. Also, if you look, the stand it was on was also really neat. It's sort of this double link stand that was itself a really nice incarnation of design that he had. So in the cockpit, I was also fantastic with the pilot. This was Top Gun material wherever he was flying.
I saw a short clip of video with him flying it, and he looked to be in good control of it as well.
Yeah, he flew around. I saw a couple of flights on Saturday. I think he did.
Well, I think that one flight you saw, he busted up the nose wheel, so he didn't fly the rest of the day.
On landing?
Yeah.
I didn't see the landing. I saw the takeoff in orbit.
Yeah.
Guess I should have kept watching.
And Stuart just joined in and said he flew well. I saw the video. Someone posted it on Texas Forward Thunder. So really neat. And I'm jealous that I didn't get to see it because, I would have loved to have seen that. But I did make an offer to take some more photos and video when he fixes it and goes back to Bomber. That's his club now.
Oh, okay. So he's fairly local to you guys then.
Well, he lives in not Montgomery County. He lives up north near Woodlands, but that he's making that his field just because of the runway.
Anything within 5 hours is local.
Just because runway. It's such a big plane. I imagine grass fields wouldn't be a problem with that.
Yeah. Oh, probably he landed on the grass too.
Yeah. We noticed that a lot of people landed on the grass at Bomber Field this time.
Some people landed on the grass a little harder than others.
Yes.
At least watching the videos I did. So I'm going to give you the full screen, Fitz. Why don't you tell us about Bomber B-17 fly-in? Go.
Oh, I went,
Faster.
I saw, and all I got was this little plaque.
What did you take?
So, no, they just gave us these little 32nd anniversary things for all the pilots that registered.
Cool.
I have 4 of those.
Do you? I don't remember getting one before.
Yeah, there's one on my tool chest.
Oh, I don't know why I missed it last time.
There's been a couple of years they didn't offer them, so.
Oh, maybe it was just my bad luck. They were also giving these away too at some point.
Very cool.
Bottle opener. It's got also for Legend Hobbies on the other side.
You're gonna have to take up drinking now.
Yeah, well, I go with my root beer, right? IBC root beer. So this is metal too. This is really nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, as Lee mentioned, it was 198. Is that what you said, pilots?
190 that I thought.
190. That's amazing. There were a lot of planes. If you saw the live video I did in the morning, they were stretched all the way the entire length of the runway and more. So I believe it. And that was like pilot number 123 when I got there Saturday morning. And people were slowly coming in. It was lots of stuff. Even that picture, you can see a nice hurricane behind the P-38.
Trying to see if I can I'll just do that one.
There's a big helicopter, big electric helicopter.
I'm just going to go through some photos and maybe you can talk about them.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is, but it was a turbine that flew a few times. It looked like a really nice turbine trainer kind of plane that was in some sort of pseudo-military markings. Maybe somebody in the chat knows exactly what it is, but it was kind of neat to see that fly around. There were several turbines there. This is the president of my club. This is Mike Liable and his B-24. This has a lot of flights. I think they said it was like 80-something flights on it so far. And
from the calendar, it's been around for a long time too.
Yes, this was a joint project between Mike Liable and unfortunately
Herman Burton.
Herman Burton. Herman, I think he passed away last year. Longtime member of the club, great guy to know, really interesting character. And him and Liable built this plane. They actually lived across the street practically from each other. And so it was really easy for them to coordinate and build this. This plane actually has 2 transmitters, one for the primary flight and a secondary one for the turrets and a bomb drop. And it actually has a movable belly turret. The belly turret can pop up and down. You can open the bomb bay doors and drop bombs, and another channel to rotate the top turret versus nose turret. So this is a really nice bomb. He's won a bunch of awards for this, and he's flown it a lot. I forgot what engines he has. I think they're
4-stroke 90s, I think.
4-stroke, 4-stroke 90s or something like that. He was having some problems Saturday with one of the engines. They had a couple things that went wrong. They had a big storm that passed by. Was it Thursday night or Friday night? They got a bunch of planes wet, and one of his planes got a servo died because it got wet. So we had to change that. And on this one of the engines wasn't getting with the program. I think it was I don't know if it was a battery problem or what. So he wasn't able to fly it Saturday, unfortunately. But he did have a couple other planes that he flew.
Always an eye catcher.
Yeah, always. He won award. He got nicked at a fly-in last year. A plane kind of came over and took a chunk out of the wing on the ground.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he patched it up, but he kind of left it not perfect as sort of a trophy.
Just to shame the other pilot.
To shame the guy. Yeah, see what you did. But it's a great plane. There's a big Cub. I saw it fly, but I don't know too much about it. If I remember correctly, this one was fairly big.
Yeah, everything we were going to show you is pretty big.
Yeah.
Walking out our sign.
Hey.
Yes, there's our sign. We were there representing. Somebody in the chat saying one of the servos for the engine had corrosion in the wire lead. Okay, that's right. Yeah, he was having problems with back to the B-24. One of the servos wasn't getting with the program. I think it was corrosion on the lead. So he's got to work on that. This is
this was Randy's Hi-O Silver. He
sold
silver and gave it to somebody else.
Okay, I don't think did he fly? I didn't see it fly Saturday.
I don't know if it flew.
I don't think it flew. Randy was pretty busy being CD of the event. He is. That's his second calling, being CD of an event. So I think he's
not scared of the microphone, is he?
He is not scared of the microphone. That guy is.
He's not scared, and he's meant for the microphone. He's pretty awesome. Knowing people's names, knowing the stats of aircraft, and just making everybody have a good time. He's full of. My wife even said so, because I don't think she had actually heard him talk at a show, but she was saying whoever on the microphone was really good.
Yeah, and it really can set the whole tone for an event when you've got a good person on the microphone or a bad one. It can really make or break the experience.
There you have airplanes, flies. The business end of a P-47.
Ryan's photos. My son and Ryan both took photos, so you're going to see a hodgepodge of photos here.
Yeah.
It's all included some pictures, but I told my kids to do some detail shots, so I think most of these coming up in this section are Ryan's.
Yeah, here's looks like a Sopwith pup. There was a whole bunch of Sopwith biplanes there, and they did have a dawn patrol kind of thing in the morning, and there's probably half a dozen of them in the air at the same time, and they're all huge. I mean, these are
probably Balsa USA kits.
Probably a third scale, I would say, at least.
Many
and they were
with some Sopwiths with their tails in the air.
Yeah. So it was neat to see them flying around. There was a whole bunch of them. I don't know. I guess maybe they were Balsa USA. I forgot to ask. But it was neat to see them flying around in the morning, dawn patrol, before it got too breezy. And they were just kind of tearing it up a little bit. Here is another shot of Libel's B-24. And you see the mouse. That is my Mustache Model Works Beaver in the back there.
Very nice.
So I brought that. It's the only thing that would fit in the car because I had another big plane in there. I had this in the car. I was asked to bring it as in its current state just to show off. And when I put it in, I realized, oh, great. I can't fit anything else in the car hardly.
Two trips.
I was going to bring my Zero, but it wouldn't fit. So I said, well, the Beaver fits barely, so I'll bring that. So
that's what a roof rack's for.
Okay, so we have, I think
this is for you, Adam.
All right, Adam. Yeah, listen up.
Just make sure you follow. I'm looking at the picture, not looking at the comments, but I know Adam's going to chime in right now.
Oh yeah, I'll be nice about the paint jobs, but I believe these guys were from California, if I remember correctly.
I think this one definitely came from California.
At least the big B-17. The picture does not do the one in the back justice. That B-17 in the back without the wings was huge. When I say huge, it was mind-bogglingly huge. I think the fuselage.
Aren't these 8-foot tables back here?
Yes, I believe so. I think it was so big that the fuselage looked like split in half for transportation. And the wings, you can't see the wings. The wings themselves, each wing panel must have been at least 10 feet. long.
Wow.
It was huge. It was a monster. I didn't see it fly. I didn't see it together, but it was huge, huge, huge. Also, that P40 on the right, I was told that it had a 3 or 4 cylinder engine in it, inline.
Wow.
They went to start it up at one point, but it wouldn't start, so I didn't get to see it fly. But it did fly. I saw a video somewhere else. Somebody had shown it flying around, so it did fly at some point. Don't know.
Is there such thing as an inline 3-cylinder?
Somebody said inline 4-cylinder. I said, okay, that sounds
Okay.
right. And then somebody else said inline 3. I was like, I never heard of an inline 3. So
Be interesting.
But I would go with inline 4. It was a big plane. It was a very big plane. It was probably 100 inch itself. So really nice guys that they showed up all the way from from the West Coast. So, but the B-17 in the front did fly, and that was one of the ones that I was asked to judge. At some point, I was walking around. One of the reasons why I was also kind of busy. I'll go into that in a minute. But Randy said, hey, you got a minute? Can you judge some of these B-17? So he gave me a bunch of placards and said, okay, here's about 5 of these things. You're going to judge them: static judging and flight judging. And this was one of them. I think this was Shoo Shoo Baby or Shoo 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 Baby. There was a Shoo Shoo Baby and a Shoo 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 Baby.
Oh, really? That's funny.
And this was, or 909. I can't remember which one. Somebody in the chat says the P40 had a Comb 3-cylinder inline. So it was a 3-cylinder.
So that's a thing. Interesting.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I bet that sounds
Stand corrected.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Georgia says one of the early bomber events about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, they had an announcer that never seemed to know anything right about an airplane. Anyway, so that happens. So those are some really nice. There was several electric. There was at least 2 electric B-17s of that size, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, but I gotta touch on what Adam.
Stroke.
You talking?
Oh, Ms. Lee.
Am I not there?
Or that's me.
Fitz got jittery on us.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here. Fitz, are you with us?
I'm
All right,
back.
well,
You
Oh,
paused
there
for a
it is.
second. Yeah, it hiccup for a second. We're good. Is that 909? Okay, sorry, it's 909. There's so many B-17s I can't get the names correct, but the chat is saying that was 909. So okay, thank you.
To Adam, please tell me you deducted points. Come on, just touch on what Adam's talking about.
Okay, so Adam's real stickler for weathering, and as you can see on the wing, which I believe those are vents, they're not even exhaust ports, are
Correct.
really heavily weathered, all evenly like that. And you don't see that on the real one, not weathered like that. Sometimes you might see some minor streaking from some of the vents, but that makes it look like they're exhaust vents, which is not correct. So it had some of the weathering was really thick and a little too heavy. I don't want to criticize the person who built it too much. It was
Adam
a really nice
will.
plane, but
You're just
I
parroting
do
Adam.
scale models. And so this is what Adam was pointing out, because Adam has been around a lot of real B-17s.
Yes. He
Involved
works
in
on the real-
restoration of these things. So Adam knows what he's talking about.
Oil
So
here, your wing is filled with oil. That would be bad.
yeah. So yes, Adam, I did deduct some points. And here is what is this? I'm at a
Is
loss.
that a
what this is.
Boeing something or other?
I think it's an early Boeing, yeah. But I'm at a loss which model it is. Is that one of the ones that attacked King Kong?
I thought those were Sparrowhawks.
What was
I don't
they
know.
might have been Sparrowhawks, or a real rare plane. What was neat about this particular plane, though, is he had a working airspeed indicator at the top. See the little propeller on the top of the wing in the center,
Yeah.
little anemometer thing. It actually was spinning in the wind. I thought was kind of neat.
Yeah. Neat.
You can see a NASA, I think a 182 maybe in the back. That was kind of nice too. I didn't see it fly, but I thought it was a nice big scheme.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very-
This is probably
Big size.
90, 100 inch. Yeah.
I'll just go through a couple here. More stop widths. Oh, we got to talk about
Oh,
this
yeah.
one. Here we go.
Let's stop for a second.
I don't know.
Yeah, my internet hicked up again. All right, Cookie, who recognizes this, probably, of course, there's a plaque in the back, probably gives it away.
I'll cover it
In
up.
the chat, anybody? 10, 9, 8,
Remember, they're like 15
7,
seconds behind.
6, 5, 4,
I think
3, 2, 1.
I don't know what this
1.
is.
1. I guess the chat's behind. So, yeah,
Did
as
it
you probably
fly?
guessed, this was. I did not see it fly. But there we go, chat's Bob. Yeah, this is the Phoenix from the movie Flight of the Phoenix. And somebody recreated the, was it a flying boxcar, right? That they took apart?
Yeah, it was C-123, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, C-123. This was neat. You can see the picture. There's actually people lying in the prone position on the wing. There you go. Yes. He simulated that. I believe this is the same one I mentioned to you guys I saw in the 1 or 2 issues ago of the Model Aviation magazine. Somebody had submitted a picture, and it was of this plane. So this is really neat to see it. But go ahead.
Adam's asking a question. I think the answer is Art Scholl. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the test pilot, right? After they filmed the scene, he crashed it and unfortunately perished.
Well, it wasn't Art Scholl.
Filming.
It wasn't?
No, it was,
No. Somebody else died in the. They had done several touch and goes, and the fuselage cracked.
Oh, man.
Landings.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah.
It was electric powered. You can see it's got an electric motor in it. Really nice. It was also fairly large, probably 70-ish wingspan-ish, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
And it had you can see the landing gear. It had the sort of skids for landing gear.
Oh, right.
Now, there's one thing. If you guys remember the movie, on the left side, you probably can't see it in the picture, was a bust of a little monkey. And I don't remember a monkey being in the movie. Right there. Yeah, there's a little monkey. Like, why is there a monkey on there? Or chimpanzee or whatever. So, yeah. So, anyways, a nice OV-10 Bronco. I don't remember seeing that fly either. This did fly, the Hawker Hurricane. This was Chris. He's got a JU-88 as well. He was flying around. This was really nice. Nice to see a Hurricane. Don't see too many of them around.
Correct.
Joshua.
Yeah,
and I've been corrected. Art Scholl died during Top Gun.
Oh, Top Gun. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for setting me straight.
Man.
And they never found him.
They never found him, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
On the Pacific. But I digress. That's
not a story of what's his name?
Chuck Yeager.
No, he was real famous in the 20s. He had a World War I movie, Hell's Angels.
Howard Hughes?
Howard Hughes. Yeah, Howard Hughes. In filming of that movie, he asked the stunt pilots to do something. They all said, "No, that's too dangerous. We're going to kill ourselves." And he goes, "Oh, you bunch of wankers! I'm going to do it myself." And he almost killed himself. I think he ended up crashing the plane. Almost. Yeah, he didn't, but I think he wrecked the plane doing it. But
I think they were probably using actual surplus World War I hardware.
Probably, because it was made in the early 20s. Or mid 20s. If you watch that movie, that's a pretty bloody movie. Guys get shot up in their cockpits, they're spitting blood and stuff. It was pretty brutal.
War as hell.
Yeah, war as hell. I was just surprised in the 1920s there. I was like, whoa. Anyways, see, this is kind of this heavily weathered, was it PT-17?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, of course, one of the Skyraider. I believe this is the
Legend Hobby.
Legend Hobby one. Yeah, I guess it's his own brand.
Yep.
So we had Legend Hobby was there with a bunch of planes on display. Oh, yeah, this is the, what's this?
I think that's Brett Bowling's B-17.
Yeah, what's the name of it? I can't remember the name.
Pretty sure this is the one that won.
Oh, it did.
It looks like a Jimmy Callman build, though. Do you know if it is?
I don't know any details on the build.
Just
but
the detailing on it looks like stuff he does.
Very nice detailing. It's lots of weathering. I mean, it looks like it's been through hell and back on purpose. It flew very well. Very big. Adam, how's the weathering on this one?
There's stains right there.
Adam says it was the monkey in the movie. Okay, I don't remember the monkey. Okay, they're in a desert. They got a pet monkey. Okay, they're a B-25. Another Sopwith. Another mini. Da Stuka. I think there was a couple of different Stukas there.
Spitfire.
Spit. This is it looks like they're ready for the gaggle. There was a Warbird gaggle, and I think it was almost a dozen planes in the air at one point. I think kind of 12, as a matter of fact. So this is great to see. These guys, they put all these giant scale planes up in the air at once, and they fly them like they stole them.
They fly until they run out of fuel.
Run out of fuel or crash, whatever comes first.
Full throttle till they're dead.
Yep. Yeah, the throttles are on and off switch. So this is great. They had Corsairs and stuff. There's a nice selection, P-51, little Corsair in the back. Another Corsair.
Now,
weathered.
This is Barry's, I believe. Barry's Corsair. Really big plane.
Wow.
And
Yeah, nice.
it's gorgeous. I took photos of it several years ago at Bomber. Some of my favorite shots of a Corsair because it's just so big. It really
Picture doesn't do it justice. This took up almost all the table. This was huge.
Yeah.
Another B-17. I don't think this one flew that I saw.
Is that one Shoo 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 Baby?
No, it's something else.
Shoe baby.
Oh, maybe that did fly. I'm sorry. Yeah, it did. Now I recognize it. Yes, this one did fly.
Fake news, Fitz. Get your story straight.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. But I didn't see the one back fly. This is not my Lysander. This is the upscaled one. This is a 120-inch.
Oh, the big one.
The big one. I talked to this guy before. He had it at another fly-in here in Texas.
With stars and bars. Did the U.S. have any Lysanders?
That's a good question. I didn't notice that. I didn't think we did. I thought it was us and the Canadians, but I'd have to look it up. Don't quote me on that.
Whatever.
Maybe want to be different, but this is a big plane, 120-something inch. The nice thing about the bigger one is it has flaps and it has a little bit better wheel pants on it. Got the fairings over landing gear. The smaller one doesn't have that. As nice as it is, they have the nice wheel pants. What else we got? Yeah. P-51.
Oh, Mustang.
Warmer vent.
Texan biplane. Oh, we lost you, Fitz. Fitz, are you talking? Because I can't hear you.
Oh, I'm talking.
Your microphone dropped off.
Can you see me?
Yeah, but you're very quiet. Do you agree, Terry?
I agree.
Well, we'll just continue. More planes.
Porter.
Yeah.
Corsairs. Okay.
That's the B-25 right there.
Yep, I can tell by the tail.
Oh, I heard about this DC-3. I heard it was really big. 20-something years old. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Yeah.
I didn't touch anything.
Well, you touched something.
Huh. Wow.
I can bear
the C-47. Really nice.
It's bad. It's bad. I can't hear. You gotta try unplugging and plug it back in or something. I don't. It's look what we have to do. Oh, he's literally unplugged. Hey George, I don't know if we'll show the P63 video. It is awesome, but I think with the bandwidth and what we're doing here, it's probably not going to work. So
let's just promote it.
I was just going to say, just head over to our Facebook page. Try again, Fitz. Talk.
Okay, how about now?
Yes.
That's weird. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, so yes, the C-47 flew really nice. It's big, very big, and it flew great. I saw it and I was really excited to see it fly.
Did it slow down?
I don't remember watching it land.
All the C-47s I've seen fly too fast. All the big C-47s.
He did fly pretty fast, but I don't remember seeing it land. So
I'm waiting to see a giant scale P-47 fly reasonably slowly.
Forget it.
It could happen.
There's speaking of P-47.
Yeah.
P-25. I think I'll go through these. Oh, here we go.
The B-26. That's rare.
Yeah,
I saw it
fly. That's a foamy one.
Yeah.
But I saw it fly. It flew really nice. I was the guy who was having a good time flying it, doing aerobatics with it.
I think Dynam made that.
I believe it was Dynam. I was going to
for a little while.
Yeah. There's a NYP, the Spirit of St. Louis. It also flew.
Nice.
Very big, as you can see. There's a Ju-88. That was Chris's. That's an old plane. He told me it's probably 40 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's a hand-me-down, or he bought it from somewhere. It was built some time ago, and it's got, I think, a couple of 40s in it, maybe. But he flies it really good. He's got quite a bit of flights on it.
Good.
Well, I just liked how my son took all the planes. Look how big that plane is. But there's unfortunately, a B-17 going in wheels up.
Yeah. There were a few crashes, not a whole lot, but there was. I heard there was one crash. A jet got strung through the trees. Oh, hold on, there's this way, and a couple of hard landings, a couple of big crashes. One guy kind of had a close call in the pits, but that's kind of normal for these events. So when you got almost 200 pilots, you're going to get some carnage.
Well, I saw the turbine B F-16 go down.
Oh, you saw it?
Well,
yeah, so maybe you can tell about it.
Oh, it crashed. Oh,
hey
what happened
guys,
to Lee?
What the heck?
We just lost power.
Ah, well, you've got a UPS, right?
Yes, but we just lost power.
All
And the
right.
problem is, although I'm on a UPS here, everything goes back to my closet. So I'm saying I'm sorry to all. It's funny because hey, we're back. I was gonna say I'm sorry because then all three of us would have had a failure of some sort.
Oh.
So if you're hosting, does that make us all go away if you leave?
Yeah, I think if I drop it, drops you guys because I'm in charge. But anyway, we're back. It's exciting, folks. We're live. That's how it works. All right, I'm sorry. Go back to the P-63.
Okay, so this is a P-63 King Cobra.
King Cobra, yeah.
Yes, this is you don't see too many of these around. I think this resides. I don't know if it's the Commander Air Force or Collins, but I do see it a lot at our air show here in Houston. And so apparently Randy Larson knows people or something.
He knows people.
He knows people because he had flyovers. He had several flyovers during the event, and this is one of them. This guy gave a really good show, this King Air Corps, because he was doing loops and rolls and his really nice wing over low passes. And this guy was just screaming across. It was a really great to see this, and he did several passes. This wasn't like a one and gone. This was he did probably 4 or 5 passes.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice, different attitudes and different stuff. So there's on our Facebook page, I have a video from my cell phone. I took a couple of passes of this, and I think a steer T6 and T28. Yeah, there you go. Your son took a really good shot of it, and that's a real airplane. It's not a model. And he's not very high.
Hey, you survived this time, Fitz. You came home with your head.
Oh yeah, I stayed safely in the pits, in the pits.
There's a sign right here. It says Fitz, go back, turn around.
Notice that I was behind other people. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Fitz, stay in the grass. So that's another close up of the plane that won the contest. I'm gonna close up shop here because that was fun. But
so
we need to move on. So finish up Bomber and then let's talk to Terry.
So in the summary, it was a really good event. The weather had broke. We had just a few days before. It was hot and miserable. And we had a cold front come in and drop a good 10 degrees. It was fantastic weather. Unfortunately, I didn't fly much. I flew my Beaver once, but I was just so busy talking to people, having fun, driving RC tanks, taking pictures, what do you call it? Judging aircraft, just kind of soaking it all in. And kind of the same thing for a lot of the people. A lot of people didn't really fly all that much, but it was such a good time watching everything else, talking to people, buying stuff. There were some people selling used stuff. I actually picked up a nice, I think I left it in the car or somewhere. Since I've got another gas plane, there was a guy there selling these really nice fuel jugs with integrated pump and a nice cap and stuff on that. And I said, well, I might as well just get something nice instead of just using my lawnmower gas tank filler thing. So I picked up one of those as well. There's some nice stuff. Lots of neat people. Really great that people come from East Coast and West Coast here to the long drive. Really long drive. It was a great.
It's a mecca now.
It's a mecca. I think it's officially a mecca now. So kudos to Randy Larson and the gang and to the club of Bomber Field for hosting this and putting on a great event. They had some nice food. They had some really good-looking brisket, but by the time I got there, they had run out because it was so popular. A lot of spectators, and the weather gods held out.
So it looked really windy in a couple videos I saw.
So Saturday had a bit of a crosswind, but it was steady, wasn't gusty, so I didn't see much of a problem. Personally speaking, it might have kept some people a little bit grounded, but it was pretty nice. I've seen a lot worse, so I wasn't really going to play. It did get progressively more crosswind as the day went on. So in the morning it was more or less down runway, and at the end of the day it was basically a direct cross, but wasn't gusty, so it wasn't too bad. It didn't stop a lot of people from flying. We had some great shows from some of the turbines that showed up as well. Several of them flew around together. So, anyways, it was really well organized. Again, thanks, guys. Had a great time. Got some great swag. And look on our Facebook page. We have a bunch of pictures and some videos. If you remember, maybe some links. I think Mike Sarosnik in the chat also took a whole bunch of pictures. I think we linked to his, didn't we? Did we cross-post his pictures? I don't remember.
Michael Rosnick's?
Yeah.
I don't know if we linked it, but he put a lot on a Texas Warbird Thunder page. I guess I'll do that. I'll reach out to Mike and see if I can share his photos.
Yeah, he took a whole bunch of pictures. Mike was, we know Mike. He came down from the Dallas area, from his helicopters around a little bit, and his bomber as well. So, anyways, I don't know what else I can say. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think I did.
The only thing that could have made it better was...
No, I'm afraid what's going to happen is with the 190 pilots and how beautiful it was, they're going to say Lee was the jinx. Could you stay back for 2021? Yeah, I felt miserable not being able to go, but unfortunately, I was not healthy enough to go out there. So I was glad my boys went. I don't think this is rude to my wife at all, but they both came back saying it would have been more fun if I was there. But I think that's only because I would have, number one, let Austin fly something. And number two, I would have been able to take him closer to the flight line and, closer to the planes. Now, I don't want to tread on this too much, but there was one injury out there. And I kind of want to mention it because I want to say the upside was there was a what am I trying to say? A good deed done. Someone actually stopped flying, took the injured person who cut their hand on a prop and took him to the hospital. It was just high praise for this pilot who just said, "Hey guys, could y'all watch my stuff? I'm going to go take this guy," rather than the guy just take care of himself. Yeah. I mean, just people all chipped in to help him. I don't know how serious it was. It must've been bad enough because Austin was like, "Oh, did you see that guy? He got his finger all cut up." So
yeah. Actually, there were two. Liable nicked his leg apparently on his bomber when he was reaching over or something to adjust an engine, and his shin got a little too close to one of the props and kind of nicked it. I saw a big patch on his leg. I was like, what happened there?
There are 4 motors spinning.
Yeah, there are 4 motors. So yeah, be careful. But you're right. I heard about the one that the guy had to be taken to the hospital to get stitched up. And so there was another pilot took him and forfeited his entry into the bomber competition because of that. So,
so in the comments, the JR Shoemake said, Jim McWilliams was the gentleman who I don't want to say sacrifices. I mean, I think anybody would have stood up, but it was just great to to just remind everybody that's the kind of people we have out there. There's some good, decent folk that are willing to help out at any time. I mean, the last time we were there, I think this was kind of funny. I'm not sure it was Tom, but I remember, and Fitz, you might remember during the Warbird event, someone was looking for a part or a tool, and I didn't bring all my stuff like I do to Best, but I did just say, here's my tool kit. Because I leave spare parts in there, and I think they found something they needed to fix their plane. So, we always try to do stuff like that too. And I bet that happens all the time at these big, Warbird events, stuff, especially with these big planes. I bet these guys just, with all the trailers and stuff, just pick their plane up, put it in the trailer, fix it, go back out.
I was thinking that I really need to get a trailer. I really need to get a trailer. Just doesn't have to be very big, but just something because
you get any more planes like that Cub, you won't have a choice.
Yeah, that was kind of the kicker. It's like, I got this nice plane because they're having Bomber Field's having a high wing hoedown in 2 weeks, October 3rd, I believe. I
bet you Lee would sell you his Suburban.
I just found out about it yesterday or today. What? Yeah. How's that look? Oh, yeah.
Lee wasn't invited.
If you go to that, I am going to come out and kick your butt.
I have to.
No. We're going to talk offline. For those of you,
we'll have to talk offline.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
If anybody knows a trailer cheap, I already got a hitch on my car, but I can't tow too much. I just got the little
car. 50 pounds.
I got the little car. I actually saw there's a guy in like Katy who's trying to sell a RC trailer. He built himself. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I look at the rate and it says the trailer is like 2,500 pounds empty. It's like, no. You've already exceeded the towing capacity of my trailer. Empty. My car empty.
And the car, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, God dang it.
Well,
And he was an RC guy too. Was that?
my wife had mentioned when they were walking around, saw all the trailers, and was like, "How come you don't have one of those?" It's like, I have nowhere to put it. You know,
Your wife said that?
yeah. She also saw the RVs. Was like, that's living. You know, all these people had those big RVs out there. And
Yeah,
I know
RVs
Randy,
nice when you get there, but the rest of the year, it's a lot of overhead.
exactly, and it's storage fees and all that jazz. So I digress. Bomber was great. It looks like it was great. My kids had a good time. Fitz, I know you had a good time. I'm actually dying to hear Terry's story. We're 50 minutes in already, and I've been wanting to hear.
Don't
Terry,
forget, we started late.
a little late, but I think everybody's like, neat.
So my show and tell is from the Neat Fair in Shenhapple, New York, or Downsville, New York, one of those places in the mountains of New York. Yeah, and if I had to summarize it in one word, that word would be it was cold. And this is my 4th year going, and it's the first time that I remember actually being cold there. And during the day it was fine, but at night it got down into the 30s, and you wake up in the morning, there's frost on the field. So it was chilly. And I keep a windbreaker thing in my car just because I live in Buffalo. And thank goodness it was there, because without that, it would have been pretty miserable at night. So anyway, but that's not the story you want to hear. I got there Thursday night, maybe around 10 o'clock, just in time to meet up with my buddies and get stuff unpacked and hang out for a little bit. So my time there didn't really start until Friday morning. And first thing Friday, I ran into our buddy Joshua Orchard. So
I'm going to try to get this back here. Here we go. Sorry about that. Fitz had to rejoin.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my mic stopped working again. Sorry to interrupt. But Terry, can you remind everybody what NEAT is again? That's an acronym, right?
Northeast Electric Aircraft Technology.
Bird.
Electric flying.
Yeah, this was the 21st edition, 21st annual.
It's like in the Catskills, right, or something?
I think that's what that mountain range is. Yeah. And it's all electric, obviously, but other than that, there's no limitations. So any electric airplane is welcome to come fly. And it's got a long history. So there's always this core group of people that come and participate, and then you've got other people that are on again, off again. And my little group of a dozen or so people, we had some guys that had to cancel at the last minute, some that had canceled a few weeks back because of different obligations. But we still had several people in our tent. We had a 20 by 60 tent, and there were, I think, a dozen of us in there, and a good group of people, all excellent modelers, all excellent company. So regardless of the airplanes and the stuff that went on, we had fun, like-minded people to hang out with. So getting back, I'll try to go chronologically. I got there Friday morning, ran into Joshua Orchard right away, so I chatted with him for a little while. And as it turned out, he was camped at the opposite end of the flight line. And the way NEAT is laid out, there's a full-scale grass strip on this campground, and most people set up their canopies along that strip. And so we were at opposite ends of this runway. And so I really only saw him, I think maybe 2 other times throughout the whole weekend. And he had brought his shiny P-47, which is the Hangar 9 ARF that he stripped and recovered with aluminum and made it all pretty. I think we talked about it after Flight Fest because he had it there as well. Anyway, he had that, and he also had a bit from a new project he's working on where he's building, I think it's a P-51 that's going to have a variable pitch propeller system. And so he showed me the mechanics of that, and that was pretty cool. I've got video of it somewhere. I'll have to dig that up. And so speaking of media, I'm usually focused, no pun intended, on taking still photos. But this time around, I focused more on video. So I've got quite a bit of video to go through. And I did take some still photos as well. And Lee, if you want to kind of do the thing like you did with Fitz, I put some photos in Dropbox. And you can scroll through them. Oh, there's a good picture. So we were camped right about here. That little thing there, you can't see it.
Yeah, I can't.
Where's that
Your
again?
mouse is moving, but it is.
So look at the pond on the right.
Hold on. You guide my arrow.
Okay, so go left. Let's see that canopy. Okay, so that big white canopy to down.
Down,
Nope,
down.
sorry. No, go down, down, down. Nope.
Right there.
Okay, so there's the canopy on the field there.
No, the other white canopy.
Oh,
What are you doing?
That
Right
one.
there in the middle.
Oh.
What? To the
That
right.
one?
go to the flight lines. The canopy at the bottom of the frame right now on the flight
There.
line. Yep, that's the marshal for the park flyer station. Behind that, there's a big white canopy above it. So you got to zoom in again, buddy. All right, so go back to your flight line.
I don't
canopy.
know if this is this year. I'm hoping it is.
Maybe it's not, but I was in that general area. We were in a 20 by 60 canopy behind that. So it's very convenient for us because we end up spending a lot of time at the pond.
Where's Terry? Can you find him? Spot Terry.
He wore out a path between that canopy and the pond.
So wait a minute. So the pond on the right is where you flew?
That's if you want to fly float planes, that's where you fly.
Looks like you got to cross the flight line to get
You
there.
do. And so you coordinate that with the people at the park flyer station. So
Duck, run, zigzag.
the area above where Lee is now, that's the main flight line. That's where you fly bigger, faster sport ships. Where I was talking about before is the park flyer line. And for airplanes that qualify under the AMA's park flyer rules, they are flying there. And then a little bit further south of that is a micro line. So
Look at
ultra
that.
micros can fly there.
That's almost as plentiful as the B-17 flying. Look at all that.
Yeah, I don't think that was this year.
Whew.
Because there were a few gaps. So speaking of attendance, I signed up Friday morning, and I think I was number 140 or 141. I don't know if that means I was 140th pilot, if there were pre-registered people who didn't show up. I don't know how the math works out, but I think it's down from years before because of the obvious COVID situation and other things, but still plenty of people there, good crowd, and I had no complaints about the number or quality of people that were there. So Lee, have you found the photos on Dropbox yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay. So let's see here. Speaking of the weather, Friday was windy, which is also a first for me. I'm not used to it being windy there, but most of Friday was pretty strong winds. It was at least down the runway, but as you can see from that picture, you've got, it's in a valley and there's a wall of trees on the opposite side. So even when the wind is pretty consistent down the runway, you got a lot of rough wind or rough air along the tree line there. So yeah, we dealt with it. It was fine. Everybody flew, but you didn't necessarily bring out your lightest stuff.
Is it 12 photos, Terry?
Yeah, sure. That sounds about right. It's in our photo folder.
Okay, I'm sharing this one right now, and then you can guide me. Is that one?
That's one of them. Yep. So, I mean, it's kind of a spoiler, but I was going to talk about we flew float planes a lot, and night flying is always a big deal at NEAT. So this was the first time we've merged those things together. Ross Clements built this airplane, which is a balsa kitten. I'm sure I talked about that last year because that was a model that Thayer really fell in love with and tried to get a lot of people to build these models. And it's basically just a 3-channel high wing job, but it flies so nicely and so slowly on floats that it's really ideal for this situation where you've got kind of a confined area. But Ross Clements built one and he put lights in it. And he, to save weight, soldered he did it the old school way. He got magnet wire and he soldered individual LEDs and current limiting resistors in there. And it was just fabulous. You can see it's well lit and it has a nice reflection on the pond there. And it flies so slowly. And he is a super duper pilot. And so to give some context to Ross, you remember from last year when we had the video of that rotary wing champ? Remember?
Yes.
Okay, it's got the crazy cylinder wing on the top. Is Fitz listening? He's multitasking.
Sorry.
He's working on a plastic model.
So that was Ross's thing. And Ross typically I would only see at the indoor events. And actually, I think this is the first year he came to the outdoor portion of NEAT. But he's a young guy. I think he's maybe 17. He did a lot of the indoor stuff in years past, but he came out to the outdoor thing this year with a lot of his indoor stuff and also some outdoor things like this kitten and also some really fast micro stuff. And he is an amazing pilot. And so we spent a lot of time watching him fly this kitten, and everybody else flew their water stuff until it got too dark to do so. And then Ross brought his out and was flying. And Lee, you'll be happy to know that Thayer did a lot of long exposure stuff with this. And he got some really neat things, at least from what I could tell, looking on the camera screen. So I think we'll have some good images coming. Cool. So that was just a ton of fun to watch and a neat experience to see. And like I said, we spent a lot of time on the pond during the day. Saturday was much better, so we could bring out the lighter stuff. And I gave Joshua Orchard his first experience of flying a float plane. He flew my twin Puddle Master.
Cool. Is it in here?
I think there's a couple pictures in there.
Okay. Well, let's move to the next photo, and you can give us some more talk.
Oh, okay. This is Carl Hampton, one of my mates, and on the right is Zeke Brubaker of Park Scale Models. But Carl built this nice SPAD. And I think originally they were planning to do some sort of World War I gaggle, but that fell through somehow. But he built this SPAD for that, and he let me fly it. And that is such a super duper nice flyer. I had a good time flying that. Really nice, really quiet. It looked really good too.
So is it a kit or a scratch build?
I'm not sure. I'd have to ask him. Wait, hold on. Go back. And to help calibrate this thing, look at how Carl is dressed. So yeah,
Carl is wearing the latest in fashion.
Not the style, but the amount of clothing.
Yes, exactly. This is what the RC flyer of the 20s is wearing. The 2020s.
Right. Okay, go to the next one. Oh yeah, this was a really cool thing that I got to see. It's a dragon kite that I don't know the full story, but I think the kite part came off of Amazon.
This is the prop right here. People can't see.
So, and I'm really sorry, but the pilot / builder's name is, I think, Fitz something. Just murder me now if I'm getting this wrong. But he basically converted this kite to RC. You can't see it, but it's got a spiny foam addition on the back and then a V-tail. And he flew it around, and it looked really cool. And it's so simple, but very clever, and it looked great. So I was impressed with it. So
it was fun.
Yeah, it was. I'll go to the next one. Okay, so there's my twin Puddle Master. So
look like you're dragging a wing.
Well, yeah, I don't remember who was flying it here.
We'll just blame Josh.
It might have been me, but yeah, I think it did touch a wingtip, but it was fine.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
Yeah.
Well, at least you have right rudder. I mean, you're doing the right thing.
All right. So a sidebar on this. You will recall leading up to NEAT that this twin Puddle Master was going to be my project. And I had been working to get it done, and I did get it done. And I was so happy that I wasn't rushed doing it. I wasn't staying up till the middle of the night before I left to get it finished. I finished it the week before. Yay. And I finished it so early, I was able to do a test flight.
Mr. Overachiever here.
Huh?
Well.
It's got to be less than an inch right there.
So I took it to my local field and did a test flight, and the first flight went so great. I was really happy with it. It slid off the grass, it flew around, and it was well balanced. It was quiet, it flew well. The ailerons worked good. It was doing rolls. And I was like, all right, this is perfect. I love it. And then I landed. I made some adjustments to the elevator to zero out the trim. And I took off for the second flight. And after 2 turns, it stopped responding to pitch. And by the time I realized that, a couple of seconds later, it was in the ground, hard. Ooh. And then as I'm picking up the pieces, I realized that I never closed the elevator clevis back after I made those adjustments. So basically the pushrod came out, the clevis came out of the horn, and I had no elevator control. But what I did have was a twin Puddle Master with a busted left wingtip and a busted up nose. And I walked away thinking there's no way that I'm going to have time to rebuild this. But a couple of days later, I had rebuilt it. So I was very proud of myself. And you can tell that it's been rebuilt, but that's okay. I'm happy with it. And I got it back there, and my flights at NEAT were the first flights off the water. I had cut off the water rudder because it's kind of a liability when you're sliding off the grass. But yeah, because it's the lowest part, you don't want to be dragging that. But I did add differential thrust to the two motors. There was some question how effective they would be because they're kind of close.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're pretty close together.
They're perfect. It works fine. So I had good maneuverability on the water and even some aerobatic ability. We were doing wing overs and stuff like that. So I am tickled pink with this twin Puddle Master. And there were some other Puddle Masters there. I think there's going to be a photo of Mark's here in a minute. And the general consensus was this twin version is better because on the single one, there's a pylon where the motor's way high. So your thrust line is up high. And there's obviously some throttle pitch coupling that goes along with that. And everybody who flew both of them said this is better. And so I think I might even convert my old Puddle Master into a twin now. So
cool.
Anyway, yeah, really happy with how that turned out. And no more drama other than stuff like this splashing around in the pond. And it got wet, but it didn't get broken there. So,
good job.
Yeah, really happy with it.
You said it had good power?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was when I bought it, it had two Speed 400s in it. And now it has two quad motors in it. And they're not at their full capacity. But when I measured it, it was around 250 watts. And the airplane is with a 2200 3-cell, it's a little under 30 ounces, but it will also balance with a 1300, so you save a couple more ounces. And we flew it all the different ways. And an 1800 3-cell is kind of the sweet spot, and it was able to handle a little bit more wind than the balsa kittens were, so we ended up flying this a lot. And this is one of those that I ended up passing the transmitter around to a lot of different people, so a whole group of guys got stick time on it.
Cool.
Yeah.
What a friendly guy.
Yeah, well, that's what you do there. All right, next.
My P-38.
Okay, so there's the Puddle Master that I gave to Mark, and he got finished, and that flew well also.
That motor mount just looks...
Here I am.
Not right. Yeah.
See me.
It's minimalist.
I'm the motor mount. Hear me roar.
Yeah. It's a mount or something.
Oh, to answer Steve Wattenberg's question, I did pre-register, and even with pre-registration, I was actually I think my pilot number was 132, but when I filled in the legal release or whatever it is, it was the 140th slot. So
you got to
anyway.
waiver for him.
Yeah,
I have to
I don't
ask.
remember.
I have to ask. I'm looking at this. Did he actually get matching colored rubber bands to match the wing?
Oh, maybe. I can't tell. Are they purple?
Yeah.
I know he has the other Canard plane that has a black wing, and he found black rubber bands for it. So what's wrong with that?
Nothing. Just makes me think with my Cessna 337, now that I've finished it and I need rubber bands, I should probably try to find white rubber bands.
They're out there. I think he gets them on Amazon. Mark, I think Mark is watching, so comment on A, if the rubber bands are matching, and B, where you get them.
I wonder what they're like used for women's hair or something.
Maybe.
It's just they match so well.
Or model airplanes.
Except now we got to tease him about his push rods, though. They're yellow.
Well, that's what it came with.
He needs to go dye them.
Yeller.
So you're not even going to comment that the main scheme is lavender?
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay, that's how it came, by the way.
It looks pretty.
But speaking of rubber bands, so any new model I build, I probably wouldn't incorporate rubber bands just because their main function is to be a shock absorber when you crash, right? But they're kind of ugly and they're not all that friendly to use. So I'm sure that if I designed something, I would use I would glue the wing on or I would use some sort of wing bolt. But I have to admit, when I crashed my Puddle Master and it had rubber bands, because that's what the original builder put on there, I know the only reason it didn't get destroyed is because of those rubber bands. And I think I was holding it on with 6 rubber bands, and 3 of those rubber bands were destroyed in the crash, and the other ones got flung off. So they absorbed a lot of energy. And considering how fast and the angle that it came in, I'm really surprised that there wasn't more damage than occurred. And I had another crash at Neat that you remember my Kyosho Petite Ballad? Of course you do.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I crashed that one too because apparently it had sustained some damage. It got blown over in one of those wind gusts and it knocked the tail loose, but I didn't notice that. And so when I took off for a flight, basically it was, I guess the friction would,
hey, Terry, do you need this tail?
Right. The friction would keep it in place so that the rudder looked normal during my ground testing. But when I took it off, I had no rudder control. So it didn't last long. Anyway, but it came down at a hard nose attitude. And again, it's held on with the rubber bands. And there was practically no damage to that model, which just amazed me. So anyway, I'm now another disciple of the rubber band religion.
So, so Matt says they are just black number 64S, but those do not look black in this photo. Those look lavender.
It's not black.
Huh.
It says right there.
Is that like the dress that's either blue or something?
Those are yellow rubber band. I don't know, but I will get back up what you said, Terry. Although I don't like having the rubber bands on the 337 because it does look ugly. The only reason I still have the wing my dad and I built all those years ago for the Brady Hobby Trainer 40 is because of the rubber bands. And I'll never forget the crash where he's coming down, the wing goes up. And there's no fuselage, because it just stuck in the hole and the wing just kept going. But yeah. I still have that wing, so thanks, rubber bands. Yeah. All right, so another picture. Right. Yes.
So yeah, that one's Mark's, and Mark, if you want to, we'll convert your Puddle Master into a twin.
Yeah,
but actually, they fly great like this too. So I'm not trying to poop on Puddle Masters. They're great planes.
And I'm still going to question. He says these are black. Those look like lavender. Or you really screwed up the color correction in your photo today. Because those look like they match.
That's the JPEG right off the camera.
Wow.
But he's probably sitting there with the airplane right in front of him.
Well, then we need to see that photo. We need the evidence.
Nah.
He's lying.
Nah.
All right. Oh, there's another nice picture.
Oh, there's my twin again. Yeah. So not much more to say about that.
Josh?
Okay, there's Joshua Orchard, obviously. So that's him flying the Puddle Master. Extreme close up.
Not that kind of close up.
I recognize those straps anywhere.
Hey, Josh. Is he with us?
I don't think so. I haven't seen him.
All right.
Hey, I've done that.
So somebody else was flying an off-the-shelf timber on. I think they come with floats, or some of them come with floats, and it was doing really well. But I only do this not to make fun of anybody, but look how high in the water it floats when it's inverted. Go back. I mean, it's like it's levitating.
Keeping those electronics dry.
All right, hold on. Don't go forward yet.
But I want to.
Speaking of float flying, I need to take a step back. Remember, I posted a thing where I got my airboat and I set it up with FPV.
Yes.
Just for rescuing stuff off the pond.
Yes.
And on Friday, at one point, it was too windy to fly. So I'm like, I'll just take the airboat out and play with it. And about a minute into that, I had dunked it upside down. So there was some pretty good chop on the pond. And I got it going sideways. And it just plopped right over it and stayed upside down.
And then, look, fish.
But, the electronics were still working. So I was able to drive it back inverted using the aero propeller. I was just being very careful.
Oh, man. Video didn't happen, man.
No, it didn't get captured. But, Mark was on the goggles then, and I was concerned because the goggles blacked out right away. I'm like, I killed my FPV gear.
Do your goggles have the recording option?
No. Well, not the ones I brought. I have some with record, but not then. Okay. So, but anyway, I tried everything out and it worked, but I came to the conclusion that it's not a very good airboat. Some other people there, Thayer and his brother Paul, have the Stevens Aero water boards. Okay. But those water boards handle so great. They don't bounce around and they skid nicely. So they made mine look like a toy. So I need to figure something else out. But anyway, still had fun with it. All right. So this is Thayer's Staggerbee, an Andy Clancy design. And Thayer modified it into the tri-motor thing. And it's 3 brushed Speed 400s.
3.
On 2 cells and the old Gunther props. Yeah, the Gunther props. So yeah, very retro looking. And he flew that around. Check out that rudder, full flying rudder.
Wow.
Yeah.
You disappeared again. Your audio disappeared again, Fitz.
Andy's staring at the ground.
3 strikes and you're out, man. Cool. I like that fool.
Oh, did he just?
Did he quit? Did he leave us?
Yeah, I guess so.
That seems to fix his issue, but obviously he's got other problems.
He's taking his ball and going home.
Yeah, well, I'll bring him back in a second. He's going to be in the penalty box for the next 1 minute. How's that?
Okay. So this is a super secret sneak peek at what may be a new model from Park Scale Models. Zeke had designed and built this and brought it out, and it's a monocoupe. I don't know. There are variations of the monocoupe, the 90, whatever. Maybe there are a few different models. But he flew that out there, and it looked really good, as you can see. And I don't know what the span on it is. Maybe around 40.
Ooh.
Oh, so can you tell what this is?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Sort of.
The champ, but it's just a big.
It's the same concept, only this one is much bigger. I don't know what the span is.
How big is that? Because it is look pretty big.
The top of the rotors are probably up to my knees.
Okay.
Or
Is
more.
that a?
It's big. Picture a 40 size trainer.
Okay.
And so Ross built this, and he flew it out there during the day, and then they were doing a mass night fly. And Ross and I were in the canopy. I'm like, haha, you should put some lights on your rotor wing.
Ah, that's what I thought. There's like a flashlight right here, right? Or something.
Well, he was wearing one of those headbands that has LEDs built into it.
That's what I was thinking.
To work on stuff. And he's like, oh, well, let me do this. And so he did. And he flew it out there like that with the other models. And it made a really neat effect as the rotors were spinning. And so this is obviously a bigger one, and he modified.
he needs to put disco ball and mirrors in the.
Have
the lights on fly around.
Stay alive.
I had to play that song while I was flying. All right,
so
continue.
The rotors are totally passive, but he did change on the bigger ones so that it's got kind of a curve to it, so that it always starts turning the correct direction. And the smaller ones are symmetrical, so depending on which way you start moving, it'll spin that way. So at one point in the gym, he had done a hammerhead, and coming back down, it started going the wrong way. But on this one, it'll always go the correct direction. And anyway, it's just really cool to see.
Yeah. And this is a kind of a delayed exposure because you can't see the fins, I guess, whatever you call them.
Yeah, they're just basically paddles.
Yeah, so you can't see them just because it's moving.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have any still photos of it, but yeah. And then, of course, I had to represent.
Yay, our smaller banner. Good jorb.
So you get many listeners up that way that recognize us, or?
A few people asked about the banner. A few people knew about us and said hi. One person said hi and asked why we stopped recording. And I said, I think you have this confused with somebody else. So, Richard, if you're out there, I hope you're catching up on the episodes you missed.
It sounds like all of them.
Well, no, just for the past year or so, I think. But I haven't covered 10% of the experience. Yeah. And so, I usually talk about the shenanigans. There were still shenanigans at nighttime, but not quite as much as before. Maybe because there weren't as many people, maybe because it was cold at night. But still, nighttime, we had a lot of campfires around, people hanging out. I was fed extremely well by lots of people. And Mark and his girlfriend were there. They fed me great. But no matter where you go, somebody's shoving good food in your face. So that's another good part of the experience. And I just had a good time. Came home Sunday afternoon. And, of course, the weather... The later it gets on Sunday, the better the weather gets. So at some point I just had to say, I got to go. I got to get home and make it on time. So that's it. I sold a plane. I bought a plane.
Cycle of life.
Yeah. What am I? Oh, Lee, don't you want to ask me a question? What did you bug me about?
Oh, don't do this to me. You didn't prep me for these questions.
What's the one airplane you wanted me to take?
Plywood Overcast.
Plywood Overcast. I took Plywood Overcast. I should say Mark and I took Plywood Overcast.
Because you mentioned to me, now that I'm starting to even think about it, because I was so enthralled with your story, that you had to split it into two. You had to give.
It turns out I didn't have to, but I did, because Mark left a few days earlier than me, and he was taking his camper that had a lot of extra volume in it, and he offered to take the fuselage. I'm like, let me hedge my bets. Go ahead and take it. And so he did. So I transported the wing there, and I did. There's always a post on RC groups of people selling things at Neat, So I put a few things up and said, I'm not going to bring them unless somebody's interested in them. And somebody was interested in one. So I needed a little extra room for a plane that I was selling. And it all worked out perfectly. On the way home, when I was minus that plane.
Wait. You brought Plywood Overcast and now you're on your way home. What happened to Plywood Overcast?
No, well, I'm telling you, on the way there, we split it. Mark took the fuselage, I took the wing. On the way home, I brought all of it.
Right. So go back to having Plywood Overcast at Neat.
Okay. I flew it twice. I flew it once on Saturday, once on Sunday.
Please tell me someone has pics and video of that thing.
Yes, I believe Stephen Wattenberg, he's on here. I believe he took some photos, and I know he took a post-flight photo or several. And then Paul, I'm sorry, I don't know his last name, but the guy who's usually the main photographer at Neat, he said he took some in-flight stuff. I haven't seen it in his thread yet, but I haven't checked it today. So go on RC groups, check the Neat thread. There's all kinds of pictures out there. There may be pictures of Plywood Overcast.
Did someone I know get an award for Plywood Overcast?
There were no awards this year,
Oh.
but I don't think I would have won any awards anyway.
For the biggest airplane?
I think I was the second biggest airplane.
No.
There was a 40% Cub.
Wow.
Adam Lilly.
That's an ultralight.
It's ginormous. It's bigger than Plywood
A
Overcast.
40% electric Cub.
Yes, and flown amazingly by Adam Lilly.
It had its own onboard nuclear power generator or something.
I don't know what power he's got in there, but it's not wanting for juice. So anyway, I flew it twice. It flew great. Mark did shoot some video on Saturday, and I shot some onboard video on Sunday. So there will be media coming out, but lots of people asked about it, and it was fun to show them. They would ask, "Why is it called Plywood Overcast?" I was like, "Oh, well, look on the inside, you'll see." And so it was a nice conversation piece, and I got to chat with a lot of people about it, and people seemed to enjoy it.
Very good.
You didn't. I don't know if you mentioned, but did you do any indoor flying?
No. So right up until the last minute, the indoor was on, and then they canceled it a day or two before because the school that hosts it had to pull out, I think because of COVID concerns, and that's legit. And so most of the people who would have been at the indoor, I think they brought their indoor stuff to the field. Joe Malinchak is he's the guy who runs the indoor event. He was in our canopy, and he actually flew one of his planes inside the canopy one night, and that was really cool. And one of his indoor planes is this tiny L4, Piper L4, the military version of the Cub. And I don't know what the wingspan is, but it's tiny, maybe 4 or 5 inches, something like that. And it's a scale model of his L4. He's got a full scale L4 at home. And Sunday afternoon, he flew it into the grass strip. And so I've got video of him landing his full scale L4 there. And it's beautiful. It's a really nice looking plane. So that was a highlight for me to see that. So what else? I don't know. I know there's stuff I'm not telling you, stuff I'm forgetting about, but I think I like the highlights.
How different did it feel from last year due to the COVID concerns?
Not much. I've been there long enough that I know all the usual suspects, and even if we don't know each other's names or familiar faces, so we're waving and saying hi and how you doing and what cool airplane is that? So I didn't feel like anything was missing by any stretch. There were a few people from my group that I wish had been there just because I like to hang out with them, but I didn't leave on Sunday disappointed in any respect. I got a lot of good flying in. I got a lot of socializing in. It hit all the marks.
Well, I think the different angle I'm going to take it, because I'm going to go be a negative Nancy here, is that the event happened. You got to go.
Sure.
You
and
followed.
For a lot of people, it was the first event they've been to all year.
Wow.
Because you don't usually have events in the spring up here because it's cold. And so by the time March hit, we were already isolated. So again, this was the first time a lot of people got out to an RC event. It's not Texas where you get to fly year round. So let that sink in. But continue your question.
No, it's an observation. It's that I'm not saying COVID's a joke or it's make believe, and I'm certainly respect people having to take care about it. It's just that, my event is canceled. Best is canceled because of all 3 fields I've talked to, so they were too concerned. Yet all 3 fields are still open. Other events are still happening. And it's just sad for me. I mean, I understand the need to be concerned, but I hear about your NEAT event. I'm seeing these pictures. I know people are attending, and I bet everything went just as smoothly as it has in previous years.
From my perspective, yes, I assume that there was a lot more work behind the scenes to make it happen. And yeah, there were precautions put in place. You were supposed to wear your mask at certain areas of the flight line, and anytime there was a group gathering for raffles, drawings, things like that. So certainly COVID was not ignored, but they found ways to work around it. And
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because, and kind of where I was also hoping to touch on, and you already did, was people had not been flying. And I kind of saw that in the pictures I saw at Bomber. I've been to Bomber for many, many, many years. Seeing the photos of how many people showed up, and then my wife, giving me this little, when she got there, she's very concerned about the virus, and she, her workplace is a concern. And, her thought was, why are there so many people here? And I think it's because so many people have not had a chance to fly. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those events you just have to go to. Right. And, I hope and I pray everybody's safe and careful. And I couldn't go because I had to be safe and careful. But I'm glad to see events are happening because there are some people who just really want to fly.
Right.
And
so there were 2 more things I wanted to point out.
I would have loved, we were talking about going to NEAT too. I'm sad that Fitz and I could not have attended because that would have been awesome.
Yeah, we were talking.
There was a nasty rumor going around that this was going to be the last year. And then Tom Hunt, who runs it,
one more year.
No, he got on the bullhorn Saturday or sometime and made a very specific point. Like the rumors of my demise are greatly exaggerated. He said, we will be back next year. So the NEAT is on. It is not done.
Okay.
I think that, and I don't know the.
I'm sorry, what?
Have you ever talked with Tom Hunt personally? Or talked with him much?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a real life person.
No, I was thinking, I don't know all the details because, we just didn't plan on going. But I think, Terry, you could kind of touch on this. Like, what are the quarantine procedures for someone who's coming from Texas to go to NEAT and then come back to Texas, so.
Well, yeah, I don't know what it is now. New York maintains a list of certain states that based on their latest reports of whatever the infected percentages are, I think you're supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think Texas was on the list at one point.
Or if I go to
list.
one of those states, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks when I come back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to misquote things, but yeah, I don't know if you could just fly it from Texas and hang out with the crew. So hopefully next year, right? Well, maybe we can go together. Yeah. All right. So 2 more things that come to mind. One, for the first time in my life, I got to use a hoverboard. Is that what they're called? Little 2-wheeled things that you put your feet on, like a Segway? Well, like that, but not the huge Segway, but a smaller one.
Oh, the one without the handlebars. Yeah, I think they're hoverboards.
Well, this one had handlebars. So Jason Klein had one there, and he was using it.
We lost Terry.
Oh,
I thought it was me again. Good, but about time somebody else had that problem.
To go all the way really up and down. Are we back?
You are. You were frozen. Fitz was going, is it me?
It was weird. I could still hear you, but then all the video went away. And, somebody must have started a new video.
So these are the 2-wheel jobbies, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can picture the kid version of a hoverboard and then a Segway, it's somewhere in between. It had bigger wheels and it had the handlebar. But anyway, Jason Klein was there and he was using it to get around and it had no trouble on the grass and all that. He's like, here, you want to try it? I'm like, okay. So I did, and it was fun and it was pretty easy. There's a beginner mode. So he put it in beginner mode for me, but I was comfortable with it right away. So I don't know if I'm going to buy one, but it was pretty tempting. Anyway, so I got to do a hoverboard. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that, as happens so often at these events and others, I am reminded how small and tightly knit the RC community is. Because the person who bought my airplane, he sent me the message on RC groups, said, I want the model, bring it. And then when I got there, he's like, when I was looking at that stuff, your RC Group's call sign sounded familiar. So I went back through our history, and as it turns out, this guy, when I still lived in Texas, he built one of my New Moon models. Remember that EDF that I designed, I don't know, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
He had built one and did a thread on it that I commented on, and we had some back and forth. And so now he lives like an hour from me, and he bought one of my planes. And so we're going to try to tag up in the future. He's supposed to tell me about some of his club's events and things like that. So anyway, I just think that's so cool that it seems like everywhere I go, I run into somebody who knows, we have a common friend or some sort of history, and that we're a tiny little group of people with a shared passion. So that's just funny. And I like it.
And it's funny because when Fitz did his live show from Bomber, I mean, I was tuning in right away, but there must have been 20 people that were waving at Fitz or saying, "Hey, Fitz!"
Norm!
He's like, "Hey, you! Yeah,
hey champ, buddy! What's up, sport?"
But they were recognizing Fitz all over the place up there.
Yeah.
Surprised.
So, which on the flip side of that, we had some, not drama, but some interesting moments last week that a certain magazine was stealing the right word. They were posting unauthorized photos.
Robbery.
Yeah. So the one private magazine that's left on their Instagram page was posting photos that we know they didn't take. And I contacted the guy who took them, and he said, "Nope, they didn't ask me." And they have a history of doing this because they did it to who? This guy.
Me.
And others as well.
Well,
so,
I mean, I just want to jump in and say, when I found out they were mine, I said, "Could you please give me credit?" They just deleted all my photos.
right,
I'm like,
so
I
you're
would
a
have
nice
given
guy.
you the photos. I said,
Yeah.
I like model aviation, but deleting them was worse than.
Model aviation is not the. That's not the
You meant
magazine.
in a generic term.
Oh, I meant,
okay.
yeah, a model aviation magazine, not the model aviation,
Okay, yeah, they're
not
not.
the Ohio State University.
Yeah. So yeah, you're a nice guy. You would share it, and I know this other person would too. Just ask, or at least tag and credit. But anyway, they didn't. They actually cropped the photo to
Yes, like,
to get rid of the watermark that he had on there. So I mean,
not good.
anyway, so at that point, I'm thinking, there just aren't that many people who post photos of RC airplanes, and we all know each other. So how did you think you're not going to get noticed when you start swiping photos from people?
You're gonna get away with it.
Yeah, it's like I know David Hart's photos. When I see David's photos, like it's a David Hart picture. And now I'm starting to know Joe's photos because he's
Joe's really
are
stepped
really
up his
awesome
game
now.
lately.
I think he changed his camera, so
Mean
really
Joe
improved.
Vermillion is who we're talking about.
yeah.
So-
Also USA.
Yeah. So, all right. Are there any more neat questions? Nothing else comes to mind. about-
You usually don't do raffles or prize. You said you won no prize, you won no raffle, no giveaways.
I was feeling very lucky, so I put $20 into the raffle, otherwise known as donating $20 to I think it's Silent Electric Flyers of Long Island. They're the group that puts on.
I've done that a lot.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm fine with that. And Tom Hunt actually sold and donated a lot of his personal fleet for the raffle.
Oh, really?
So it was, yeah,
Oh, that was nice.
yeah.
I thought we
And
were gotten in on
for
that.
those who don't know Tom's history, he's been an electric flyer for a long time and used to design all the model airtech stuff. And he had his own gearboxes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I still have one somewhere. One of his.
he's
big
not a
gearboxes.
newcomer to this game. You have a model airtech gearbox?
Yeah, it was,
Or
it was a
I-
big one. It was a
He had
belt drive.
gearboxes and belt drives. I've
It was
got
a
one of the belt
belt drive
drives.
one,
Yeah.
I used it
And
to
he-
convert a 60 size helicopter to electric.
Oh, you put a belt drive on a helicopter?
Yeah,
Ooh.
back in the back in my
So,
crazy days. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of the belt drives I need to use on something. But he had all those airplanes that were built with like 3/16 by 1/8 sticks and a whole series of stuff back in the
belt drive like
early
that-
brush days.
Imagine a belt drive like that. This was a brush motor. Imagine on a brushless motor.
Yeah, as long as I can take the torque.
Swing a huge 4-bladed prop or something with those things.
Oh, you mean like put an outrunner on a belt drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Hey, like I said, swing a big honking prop, big
Yeah.
prop or something.
Sure. So, yeah, that's.
You said you put $20 in.
Oh, yeah, I didn't win anything.
Oh,
That's what I said. I donated
Oh,
my
you said he
money.
donated.
I know, but I thought you said, but
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
super glue.
nothing.
I got a bottle of super glue.
No, it was almost all big prizes this time.
Oh,
So it's not
You
like they
gotta-
were doing a thing every hour. They did one drawing on Saturday and like 2 or 3 on Sunday. So
He got a
it was
lighter
pretty
wallet.
good.
That's what he got.
But that's okay. I'm okay donating it to the club because
Yeah.
it's really impressive to see how well they pull this thing together. And then on Sunday they got crews coming out picking up all the gear. And
Oh, wow, yeah.
They're a well-oiled machine by this point. So, is it a perfect event? No. Is it really fun? Yeah.
So is there someone who, I know you mentioned a photographer, but is there someone who does a lot of video that makes like a small like YouTube,
Not that
video
I'm aware
for
of.
Neat?
No, I don't think there's any central person. Maybe there used to be, but not that I know of now.
Well,
There's always a thread on RC groups or several threads. There's a primary thread for neat related things. And then within that, there's sub threads, usually pictures. And like I said, the for sale thing and other stuff.
Yeah, there's probably going to be a picture thread or a picture.
Yeah. I know there's already one out there. So,
Yeah. Usually
So
it is.
so they don't have a version of me for Neat out there like I do stuff for Bomber.
well, again, Paul does a lot of photos. So there's a still photo guy. But I don't know that there's somebody who concentrates on video.
Do you know how to reach Paul?
I'm sure I could through RC groups.
Get a hold of him and see if if we can get his gallery to link to our RC Roundtable page.
I'll ask because I was going to ask him for some plywood overcast photos.
Yeah, but tell him if he's going to put them on RC groups, ask him if we can host a gallery and put them on our Facebook page.
All right, we'll see what he wants to do.
And then we'll just put a picture of you in every corner pointing at this plane.
Right. Well, I've got my own photos that I haven't worked through other than I just skimmed through this afternoon and pulled some JPEGs off. I haven't processed anything yet. So I've got a few things I can put up, and then I've got, I don't know how many tens of gigabytes of video I need to go through. But a lot of night float flying, a lot of day float flying, just things I thought were interesting I grabbed. So I'll try to pull something together.
Tens of gigabytes.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we are an hour and 30 minutes in, but that was fun to go through both events. And Terry, it sounds like you had another great time at Neat.
I did. I hated leaving.
I know that
You
feeling.
got to spend some time there this time. I think last year it was like a hit and run, wasn't it?
No, it was pretty much the same time frame last year. I got there Thursday night and left Sunday afternoon. So
Cool beans.
Well, I'm going to wrap up with a little project. I'm going to move my head so I can point right here. All right. So if you guys can see, that's kind of our updated logo. Can y'all see that? Is that how does that? There we go. Right there. Is that better?
it's a very subtle difference.
It's a subtle difference, but what I wanted to mention for those of you who are watching the show right now, so thank you for staying with us. We had this on our podcast about 2 episodes ago. If you send us an email right now from your computer, send an email to contact@rcroundtable.com. Send me your address. I'm getting new stickers made. But I actually had other stickers made, but they were the wrong stickers. So I have a lot of stickers that are the old style that were printed accidentally, but I'm expecting the new ones in soon. But Terry and Fitz, you guys have packages in the mail that are coming to you, a stack full of the stickers. So if any of you see Fitz or Terry and you just tap them on the shoulder, say, "Hey, I want a sticker," they'll have a bunch of them on hand. And anyway, email us, give me your address. I will send you guys one of the new stickers when it comes in, hopefully this week, hopefully Friday or Saturday. But we had a couple people already chime in from the podcast. So if you would like one, please do so. And for one lucky fellow pilot, this is all right. You're watching, Fitz?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're being trolled in the chat, by the way.
Oh, that's fine. I will send you this really cool little 3D printed Spitfire.
All right.
The artist on Thingiverse puts these on a placard, like a little plastic model cutout. And I've already made this one, and I'm printing another one, so you'll get a flat one. But anyway, Ryan thought this was this cool little thing. It goes together real well. So I will stick that in someone's envelope. I made an F-16 for me.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, Thingiverse has these little placards, these little model placards, really simple to put together. But yeah, I'll send someone, a lucky person, a Spitfire. So look for it in your mail with your sticker. So don't forget, contact at rcroundtable.com and I will pay attention.
All right. Before we move on, Steve Wattenberg's on here. He was taking photos as well. So Steve, did you shoot video? Now we wait for him to answer.
5,
But-
6, 7.
But he's a Canon guy, so is Paul.
Well, earlier he said he did see plywood overcast fly. So
Yeah, I knew he shot photos after the fact. I couldn't remember if he shot flight photos, but yeah. So hopefully we've got something out there. But anyway,
But thanks again, guys, for everybody who's still on with us. We had almost a record 35, 36 people on earlier. And I know this was kind of late notice. We didn't do it before. And
did we put a notice on Instagram and Twitter as well?
I didn't put them there. So,
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, which it looks like many of you are YouTube, and we've asked this question before, but it always helps to ask again. We know this is late at night. I don't know what your time zone is, but is there a better time and day that you would rather watch these live shows? Is it a weekend thing that you'd like to do? So you're in the workshop or something, or is this evening the best? So if you happen to have time and put that in the chat, let us know. And no one's still responded, or Steve hadn't responded about.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he was signing off a minute ago. So
okay.
I got one more thing I have to mention. I took my 1951 Flying Wing, my new. And got a lot of very positive attention. People just like the way it looks, and I don't know, maybe I'm biased because I built it and I wasn't able to see the uniqueness from scratch. But a lot of people said, "Oh, that looks really cool," and I like the way that looks. And I flew it in the wind on Saturday; it did well. I flew it in the calm on Sunday; it did really well, and I passed the transmitter around on that one. And lots of people making lots of positive remarks about it. So
that color scheme, man.
I guess that's it. Yeah.
I'm going to do my next plane that way.
So yeah, I'm really glad I brought it with me.
That Phase 3 F-16, I'm going to use your paint colors game. Fitz, you should do it too. We should all have one based on that plane.
So Steve said he got some flight photos of plywood overcast. So great. I look forward to seeing those with Paul's camera. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think he told me that right after I landed. So sorry, my memory's not so good. But anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for responding to those guys. I mean, it sounds like, some night at 7 Central is a good time. And I don't know, do we need to do a better job at having notices sent out? I guess.
Starting on time.
Well, wasn't me. I hope you get your microphone fixed, Fitz.
Yeah, I don't know why it crept out.
Your new one.
I don't know. Maybe because I'm a different computer. I don't know. No, I used it last time on the same computer. I don't know why it suddenly decided to not work.
Yeah, it's not good. But you can call me this week if you need to test it before one of your shows.
Yeah,
your hobby view shows.
Something. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try it again and let you know. Yeah.
Tony likes your wing, Terry.
He has a kit, I think. So
Tony,
keep us updated on that one. Tony Accurso.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of Tony, Tony's in the chat. Tony, I picked up a couple of new toys. I got to stay off of this time off of Facebook. What we'll call it. I got a couple of little glow.
Hold on, let me give you full screen access here.
There you go. I got another. I didn't really intend to get one, but I said, hey, it's a good price. Maybe I'll get another one. This is the Cox 074. Now I know they're not that great of an engine, but I thought with two of them I might be able to make a nice little twin that wouldn't need a whole lot of extra power. So I picked one up. It's a bit used. The compression seems okay, but it's a little worn. Of course, it didn't come with the muffler. I thought it came with the muffler. There's some miscommunication, I guess, with the seller. I thought he said he had the muffler. But I guess I can pick one up probably. And I also got this. This was same person. I really was mostly interested in this, but he had this. And I thought, well, maybe just tack that on. We're not much more. And this is an AP or ASP 15.15 cc. Again, it's missing the muffler. I don't know what this guy is with mufflers, but this has really good compression. I like little engines like this. I may have a plane for it. That's why I picked it up. So I got a couple of new toys there, Tony, for stuff. And he was talking about small steps too. I saw in the chat earlier. So I actually
a couple weeks away, right?
Late October. Yes, yeah. I actually do plan. I'm tentatively planning on going. Hopefully, it'll work out. I haven't got a hotel room or anything like that, but I do think I'm going to make the trip up if I can.
Well, that hotel we stayed at was
But
a
that's
little
okay.
dicey.
That's fine.
You
I stayed there
lived.
last time.
Bob's Motel.
I stayed, cause yeah, well, you and I stayed there, and I went up by myself, or was it with the wife? No, by myself. Yeah, in the same hotel, and
Hourly rates.
not really right. That was
Yeah.
okay. It was a nice location, and there's places you can eat at walking distance. I'd stay there again. I think we have special. Excuse me. We have special rates there. I think if you call them and say you're there for special hourly rates, if you call them early.
Yeah, it was.
So,
Hey,
no,
speaking of small engines, I was doing my prowling on Facebook, and there was a guy a little bit too far away from me because they wouldn't ship. But they were selling a new in-box Easy B2 with engine and radio.
oh wow,
Yeah, cheap.
and you didn't get it?
It was too far away to drive, and they wouldn't ship.
Okay.
And when I
My
checked again the other
my
day, it was
EZB is
sold.
somewhere here.
Yeah.
There's my wing.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick shout out. We have a gentleman who's watching Crash and Dash 05. So this is his first time watching. Poor guy.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But he's at work watching us. And I think he said he works on real planes in Shreveport, Louisiana.
What kind of planes?
I don't know. Chime in, Crash and Dash.
What kind of planes you working on?
Yeah. And how'd y'all fare? I guess with Shreveport, did y'all get hit by the hurricane? And
I think they did get some damage, didn't they?
yeah, there's tons of airports that
There's
got damaged during.
There's a club having an event up there in Shreveport, a jet event, I think. And I think they mentioned something about having a raffle to raise funds for the club or something.
Yeah, a couple of clubs had damage too. But anyway, what's this? What's this box we're gonna see? Hold on, let me
Whoa!
zoom in.
Where'd you get that?
A
got it today.
Kyosha?
Huh?
Wow.
I got it today.
Wow!
Look at that.
Only it's a box full of balsa. This is the balsa stuff that had the Dubro wheels in it.
Jeez.
But
Ah,
you know, I
like
got my
high
attention.
school all over again.
Did you ask him where's the rest?
Well, the airplane was there, but it was not in good shape. So, and it's the nitro version. I don't really care about that. So, but I like the box.
But you can convert.
You could.
Put 8 quad outrunners on the wings.
Anyway, I thought I'd teach you with that. All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Okay. Who's wrapping it? Fitz is, I don't know. Okay, Fitz, just for the entertainment joy of it all, would you tell us what you've been working on for the past 30 minutes on your desk, not paying attention to Terry's show?
I was listening. I was playing very much.
Your mic just died again.
Did it?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me reset.
Now we're going to disappear.
Give them a whiteboard.
Golly. What is up with that? Okay, so Crash and Dash reached MD11s.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Matt and Friends and Fly with Terry Monroe. Normally miss live shows and watch the reruns. Okay, well, you're here. Thank you for joining us. Hope we've made your work a little bit more bearable by listening to us. Now let's add Fitz back in the show. All right, Fitz, what were you saying?
And hurry, it's my bedtime.
I was hanging on every word for Terry was saying.
Yeah. All right, but show us what you were working on.
I was wiring up a harness for the Cub. So I was soldering it up. I got to turn the soldering iron off. It helps.
See, aren't you glad?
So I needed a harness. I'm using where is it? Here it is. So plug it.
Hey, Keith, saw you chime in there.
So I'm using a 2-cell 4000. So the Cub is using all high voltage servos. Everything's high voltage, and the ignition module can handle high voltage. The receiver does. So there's no voltage regulators. There's nothing fancy. Just everything is runs off of 2-cell lithium. And I've done this on my other gas planes. It worked really well. The battery, I'm using the one of the smart batteries here, 4000. You can see it. And this is kind of neat that it comes with. It has, of course, the balance plugs and the big EC3, but it also, or IC3 in this case, also has a little servo plug too, I guess, of your transmitter or something. But I didn't want to use the servo kind of plug to power everything. It's a lot of power going through one little connector. So I wanted to use the main connector to power everything. And so I had to wire up a pigtail that uses the main connector that plugs into the battery. And so I'll have 3 taps, one for the receiver and servos, or maybe even 2 if I wanted to, as backup, and one for the ignition switch. So that's what I was soldering up. I was actually soldering up the wires here, and I had some pigtails. And so that's actually ready to go. I just need to heat shrink the tube, but I didn't want to run the thing while I'm on the live stream.
Thank you.
Well, that's generous of you.
How does the signal wire work?
The what?
The signal wire.
Signal wire. Oh, in the middle?
Is that what it is? Well, then they're all.
No, I don't use a signal wire. It's been disconnected.
Okay. You still need to connect it somehow.
The signal wire is battery. You only have positive and negative.
Right. But maybe I'm confused with what you're doing. I thought you were powering your servos with that.
I'm powering the receiver, which powers the servos. I'm also powering the ignition module.
That splits power to other devices.
Yeah, I just used servo harnesses, so it has a third wire, but I'm not using the third wire. I just left it.
Yeah, well,
okay, so you just the receiver is still your node for power to all the servos.
Right. Yeah, the servos will plug into the receiver, so I'm just gonna put some heat treat tubing over the third wire and just cover it up. That's
gotcha.
It's not
all
used. Right. It's unused.
Okay, I'm with you now.
So, so what I'll do is, I just thought of this right now, is I initially had a third one for the battery telemetry. So I think I'll still use it as battery telemetry, but I might pigtail it into the receiver as a redundancy for the power. If that makes any sense. No, wait.
It's coming from the same source.
Yeah, it's coming from the same source. And it's going to be on a switch. So never mind. Okay, so I will use it for some for telemetry, but it won't be plugged into the receiver directly.
Make sure you leave room for the smoke to come out. Nothing.
Yeah. So that's what I was doing while I was sorry, but I was listening and you had my full attention. All right, I guess we got to wrap this up. We got to go on for almost 2 hours. Thanks everybody for joining us on yet another live show here at the RC Roundtable group, nonprofit organization. Peoples. I see in the chat, Tony, we're talking about the hotel. It's America's Best Value Inn in Maumelle, $45 a night. How many dollars an hour does that break down? Hey, you started it. Okay, so thanks everybody for joining us in the chat. We really appreciate it. We always love talking to you guys. We want to see, always love your questions and to chime in, and people from around the country, around the world, whatever. So guys, I don't know. We haven't had a topic pick for next show, so our next show will be our normal show, whatever pops up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of people who were on the chat tonight were at either NEAT or Bomber Field. So please jump on the threads we have on Facebook and share your experiences and photos and all that.
Yeah, look for Terry's gallery when he posts it, so you can put some comments.
Yep, I see a lot of familiar names in the chat. People I know personally, people you guys know locally and non-locally. All right, I guess that wraps up the show for tonight. Thanks for joining us. I don't have anything else other to say.
One more thing.
Yeah.
George is on here. George, we received your email about the type certification for RC. I don't know if any of us have responded yet, but we've seen it, and I think that's good news. Right? I have to get into it here. But
yeah, well, maybe we'll disseminate and talk about it next show.
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
I read part of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can make some heads or tails. Yeah, I read it too, and I was a little confused, but we'll discuss that offline, I guess.
Yep.
Well, all right. I think we will sign off. Any last words before we go?
Mumbledy peg.
Stay dry.
Stay dry. I think my wife. All right. Well, check us out at rcroundtable.com. Also on our Facebook page, facebook.com/RC Roundtable.
Yep.
And feel free to send us a note. Take a look at our pictures.
Twitter, Instagram.
Yep. We got Twittergram, Twitter, whatever. Download us at your pleasure. We will talk to you later.
Bye.